Hi, Beetle Eddie here. I have a feeling that this video I'm going to make is going to cause a lot of controversy. But I feel like I have to make it. Now, we all know that Paul McCartney had just announced that he was going to do North America in 2025. Now, he just did it in 2023, 22. And he hit my area, and I saw him last. He was at MetLife, which was not far from me, and I saw him then. But he calls this tour the Got Back Tour. Did not change the name of the tour. Still the same name, and he has not released his album yet. So it seems that in this tour it's going to continue. Most probably to have the same set list. If the album's not coming out yet, especially, there won't be anything from the new album on it. Most probably. I don't think he'll introduce a song before the album comes out. Even one song. But so it's going to be the same set list, and it's going to be the same stories. He doesn't change the stories. If you saw Paul more than once, he talks about the same things all over again, and his reasoning that he doesn't change the set list and he talks those the same stories is not everybody saw him. Not everybody saw him. There's a lot of people that saw him for the first time. So just a minute, sir. Man. Okay, so the thing is like this. So he's going to do the same tour and the same stories. Now, for example, he always has a story. Years ago, he says, when we were doing, Love Me Do, the first song we made. And, George Martin, that is, came up to me and he says, Paul, I want John to do the harmonica the whole time. So that's stopping. And so can you come in with the Love Me Do part? And I said, yeah. And I was so scared. And you could always hear me in the record. You hear me in the record. Love me do. Yeah, you can see I'm terrified. Stories like that. Same stories all over again. And the same set list. Now, the thing is, many people are saying his voice is not so good anymore. And it's not like it was. Yeah, it's not like it was, but it's enjoyable. And let me tell you, to go to a concert of his, even though his voice is not the voice of the 70s, not the voice of the 60s for sure, and not the 70s, and not the 80s, and even not the 90s. So, but his voice, all right, he has his band, and it's very enjoyable. It's a very enjoyable concert. And he puts a good show on. He puts a good show on. He's there 3 hours. He doesn't have any warm-up band. If he had a warm-up band, it would be worse. Because he probably had to make the show less. But he's there 3 hours by himself. Just 3 hours, him and his band. And any time, the band goes away and he's left by himself with a acoustic guitar. I don't even think he sips a drink of water. It's unbelievable. He's 83 years old and still going at it. But he doesn't change his set list. And he doesn't change his stories. You know, it reminds me, my father-in-law, he likes to tell jokes. He's 86 years old. He likes to tell jokes, and let us say he just repeats the same jokes over and over again. And we say, you know, we heard it already. He says, well, she didn't hear it. It's one person. So he say the whole joke over again just because one person didn't hear it. But that's Paul. That's Paul. They say, well, these fans, there's some fans that never saw me. So since they never saw me, I'm going to do the same show. So the thing is, if you saw Paul 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and it's the same show, why do you have to see it again? It's the same show. Just watch it on video. It's going to be on YouTube the next day or 2 days from now. You see the whole show. What do you have to spend? Oh, that's another thing. Tomorrow, tickets are going on sale, the pre-sale. And I looked up. I said, you know, what's the average? The least expensive seats, and they're saying that the least expensive seats are like $350, $350 to sit in nosebleeds. You know, that's much more than it was last time. I think last time I could have been getting a nosebleed seat in MetLife for $100. It's $350 for a nosebleed. Could you imagine what front row would be? You know, just for a joke, there's a on StubHub. I think it was StubHub. Either it was StubHub or TickPick. There's a place called TickPick that sells tickets, and it might be TickPick. I'm not sure, but they're selling tickets for Paul even before tickets got on sale. Now I don't know how that's possible. How they know you're going to get the tickets? But apparently they do. Now, just for fun, I put in just center stage, front row, 1 ticket. How much is that? You wouldn't believe what it said. $57,800. $57,800 for 1 ticket. You gotta be a crazy person to want to spend $57,000, $58,000 on 1 ticket for Paul McCartney. Let's say you go with your wife or girlfriend. That's $116,000. You could buy a house for that money. You could definitely put a down payment for a house for that money, and then get a mortgage. I mean, I don't think anyone's doing that. I think the price is going to go down. But initially, they're asking $57,800 for a front row seat. Crazy. You want to see Paul close up? Very nice. $58,000? That's crazy. All right. Anyway. So, now, the fact that the new album didn't come out yet. We don't know when it will be out. He's touring again, doing cities what he did 3 years ago, doing North America again. The same tour, the same name of the tour, and the same set list, most probably, the same stories. Why?
I can't make fish unless we have French fries.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my wife's speaking. Okay. So anyway, my question is, why do it? Why do it in the first place? Okay, what am I? Money. They say Paul doesn't do it for money. You know, his net value is $1.27 billion. You know, he doesn't need the money. So why is he doing it? because he loves it. He loves it. That's why he does it. But you know what? You know the Beatles. They broke up in 1967. Then they stopped touring in 1967. They didn't break up. They broke up in 1970, 69. They stopped touring in 1967 and just concentrated on this in the studio and made the greatest studio albums impossible. They made Sgt. Pepper. They made the White Album. They made the Abbey Road. Yeah. And you know it was very hard for them to even to perform those songs live. So they just decided not to. So so my suggestion is like this. I think it would benefit all the fans if, and this is where the controversy is going to start saying, how do you say that? If he stops touring. Just like they stopped touring in 67, 66, the end of 66, whatever it was, concentrated on the albums. Paul, you did it all already. There's no need for you to go and keep on touring. People say your voice is not so good, and it's the same set list. It's the same stories. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Billy Joel. Billy Joel didn't make an album since 1993, I believe. It was the last album he made. River of Dreams. But he didn't stop touring. So he was touring. And then he had that thing in Madison Square Garden, the Regency, where he was there every single month. Now he's not feeling well. He can't do so much now. So, until he feels better. Hopefully he'll feel better soon. But he hasn't made an album since 1993. In over 30 years. And still, he gets up, sings all his old songs. People like it. But you know what? I think it would be better if he stayed home and made more records. Make another album. Or two. You haven't made an album in 30 years, Billy. So that's my suggestion for Paul. It's enough already. You don't have to be on the stage so much. I know you love it. I know you get you get a high from it. You smoke your pot anyway. You get your high and go to the studio. Finish the album. And you know what? You're 83 years old. Let's say you're around another 20 years. You're 103. If Paul concentrated on just writing and recording, he could possibly have another 20 albums to his name. Can you imagine that? There's about 26 now. Can you imagine him having close to 50 albums? And that's going to last much more. And for, never die. Music doesn't die. Albums last forever. Can you imagine? Paul decides just to write. That's what he does best anyway. So let him stop touring. Let him get into the studio. Let him write his songs. Let him produce. Let him write. Let him make the records. And with autotune, whatever he needs. Not that I'm for it, but whatever he needs to improve his voice a little bit. Everyone does it. He can do it, and people won't be saying, Oh, his voice is terrible. His voice is terrible. You know, I saw him on Saturday Night Live. He did Golden Slumbers melody. He was awful. You gotta retire already. No, you don't retire, Paul. You don't retire. Just stop touring. I know all you fans say, how dare you say that? I want to see him. I want to see him 3 or 4 times. You got these people, some of these people, like in 2 legs or whatever it is. Oh, I'm going to see him 3 times. I'm going to see him 3 times. Why? Me, Mr. Mayo, I don't think I have a feeling he's not going to see him. If he sees him, maybe he's going to see him once. He's not going to see him 3 times. He's not going to see him 4 times, 5 times. He's not. No, he loves Paul as much as I do. But he's a little sensible. Especially now, with nosebleeds going to be $350. Well, how much a good seat be? Why pay $1,000 to see Paul McCartney? Why? For $1,000 you can buy every single one of his albums and have money left over. Why do that? I don't get it. I just don't get it. In the 1980s, I saw lots of concerts. And I never saw Wings. And I saw great concerts. I saw Queen with Freddie Mercury in his peak. I saw Queen when he did the jazz album. When the jazz album was out. I saw Queen when the Game album was out. Another One Bites the Dust. He was great. I had very, very close seats for Queen. Very close seats. On stage. A little to the side of the stage. But they say, here's the stage, here am I. Great seats. Guess how much they cost me? Each seat. $20 in 1980. 1982. $20. What kind of crazy thing is $50,000 for a seat? Even if it's going to go down, 30,000, 20,000, 10,000, 1,000 even. $1,000 for one seat. I don't care if he's God. I'm not going to pay $1,000 to see him for one seat. Okay, so that's what I think. I think Paul should, at his age right now, say goodbye to touring. Another possibility is, if you don't want to say goodbye to touring, then change it a little bit. Don't have the same set list and the same stories. Let the album come out first. Concentrate on the album. Do a lot of songs from the new album. Okay? Do some more, some deep cuts. A lot of musicians are doing now whole albums. Could you imagine Paul deciding to do the complete album of Ram? That would be something, huh? Or the complete album of Band on the Run. Or the complete album of Ram and Band on the Run together. So let's say like the complete album of Ram, and then the second part of the set will be various hits and various deep cuts. Real deep cuts. Like Daytime, Nighttime Suffering. Songs that you don't hear, but are great. And change the stories. We don't have to hear about the Love Me Do story. We don't have to hear about what happened with Jimi Hendrix when he asked, when you were in the audience with Eric Clapton, and Jimi Hendrix asked Eric Clapton to come up and do this guitar. We don't have to hear that. We know these stories already. We know them. We don't have to hear the story about John was blind as a bat. And one time we were walking and he said, you know, these people in that street, they're crazy. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, they're playing cards. And it was a baby Jesus and people around him. Because he couldn't see, because he didn't have glasses on. I mean, it's funny. But the same stories. All the time, the same stories. Why? Stop it already. Okay. So that's my story. I know it's going to cause a lot of controversy. Everyone's excited about this new tour that Paul's doing. People are going crazy, going to go crazy. Tomorrow's tickets going on sale, pre-sale. People are going to try, and people are going to complain they couldn't get in. The system crashed on them. It was sold out in 5 minutes, which will probably happen, and all the scalpers will get the tickets anyway, and everyone's gonna go crazy. Well, you know what? I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna see what the price is, just to see. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna buy it. I don't think I'm gonna buy it tomorrow. Definitely not gonna buy it tomorrow. If I decide to go, I'll decide later on. I got time. But I don't have to make a decision now. Maybe he'll decide to come closer to me, but it's the New York area where I live. Maybe, people change their mind. People add shows. Maybe he'll do that. I can wait. But I want Paul, I want him to come out with that new album. I want to hear that new album. It's been 3 years since you made an album. Come out with a new album. Show that that new album is great. And you know what? Concentrate and make another album right away. Make another album next year, another album the year after, and the year after. And concentrate on albums. Never mind concerts so much. And maybe after every 5 years you come out with a concert. Or two, a little tour, semi-tour, to play all the 5 albums that you made. Okay, guys. I've been talking long enough. Everyone have a great day. Take care. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. Okay, take care. Bye.